Come in. Hey, MCrewDude. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. It's just that nobody's ever knocked on my door before entering before. What's up?
That would have been impolite. I just wanted to know why you seem so down this morning.
It's no biggie. I guess I just have a case of the nostalgia sadness, you know? Life was a lot different for me back in 2007. I didn't have as many problems, and if anything, I was usually at home playing video games most of the time.
Oh yeah, I remember. I killed my first vampire back in 2007. Hell of a time. What games did you play?
Ratchet and Clank Future, and I was also really into Heavenly Sword when it first came out.
Oh yeah. You know they made a movie about Heavenly Sword, right?
How dare you defile the air with your forbidden speech!
So you want to review it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hold on, man. If you're gonna review this epic disaster, you're gonna need some backup.
I'm sure I can handle it. After all, how bad can one video game movie be?
Well, let's just say I know a guy who can help you.
Who? I guess I'm going in.
I knew you would arrive. Zeke already called me. So you want to review Heavenly Sword? I haven't played the game, but I can tell you that the movie is... It's one of the worst things I have ever seen, alright?
I have played the game, and I can tell you that the movie sucks so much.
Alright, we get it. Why don't we take a seat, go over the movie, see exactly what we can make happen.
Alright.
I'm Ian, by the way.
MCrewDude, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Do the intro.
Oh, hello everybody, this is the MCrewDude.
I'm Ian.
In 2007, the Wii, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3 were the hottest game consoles, and there were a ton of exclusive games that defined them. We all remember the greats like Ratchet and Clank Future and Uncharted, but the one that really caught my eye when it was first announced was Heavenly Sword on the PS3. I was intrigued by the design, the mocap technology, and the fact that literally thousands of enemies could fit on the screen at one time, which of course would be impossible on the PS2. The game was developed by Ninja Theory and became a huge success, but it never got a sequel, as Ninja Theory would later go on to make other games such as Enslaved and DMC Devil May Cry. When I heard that a movie was being made about it, well, my underwear remained unsoiled because the game was already like an interactive movie, and it did succeed in that department, so I really didn't see the point of a 90-minute direct-to-DVD film. Well, the movie bombed because it was apparently too hard for filmmakers to follow a simple plot. Are you ready, Ian?
I've been ready for almost 3 years.
This is Heavenly Sword, the movie. Since the game opened up with a massive epic battle where our protagonist slowly dies, it would be very fitting if the movie began with several drawn-out minutes of boring exposition. We get this bland monologue about how the Heavenly Sword is an ancient and powerful weapon that gives its user immense power while slowly draining their life. This evil king called the Raven Lord wanted it so that he could use it for unspeakable evil. There's this prophecy about a chosen one or something who will one day rise up and use the sword in order to save humanity, which brings us to our main characters. In a tribe of nomadic warriors, our main character Nariko is labeled as an outcast simply because the prophecy claimed that a son would be born. She is voiced once again by Anna Torv, who seems to have lost her touch. I remember how strong her voice work was in the game, but now she sounds like she's reading the script like she's really bored or something. We are also reintroduced to Kai, voiced by a different voice actress, and a new character named Kyo, voiced by Nolan North. Kyo starts a fight believing that Nariko is a curse to the tribe, until the fight is broken up by a prophet and Nariko's father.
Oh boy, here we go. This is when the worst character in the movie shows up. So this is Master Shen, also voiced by Nolan North. From what I've heard, he was portrayed as sweet, wise, and supportive of Nariko in the game, but here, he is completely the opposite. I mean, he's mean, selfish, and despicably sexist.
Yeah, they just made him the most hated character in the film, but to what end? I can understand that he wouldn't be so quick to trust. After all, in the original story, he trained her to be a great warrior, even after he considered killing her. Instead, all of that kindness is pointlessly given to another guy who only appears in the movie.
Get in line, Kyo. You can be next.
Oh, aren't you funny? You try too hard to be the son your father wanted.
So do you. Kai, stop it. We do not kill our clansmen.
Kai won't kill, just make some blood. I believe her.
The clan then gets attacked by the king's army led by King Bohan, sadly not voiced by Andy Serkis, but instead by Alfred Molina. You can tell that this film had a very limited budget because it looks like the animation budget from the game was taken and then cut in half. There are a ton of stock sound effects that I could easily acquire, and the particle effects look cheap as hell.
All we get is a brief splatter of blood with no realism. It just goes, eh.
King Bohan. He was a boy of great destiny, taught to lead and to win. Bohan was to emerge as the finest of kings. He was trained to fight with dignity. But honor and goodness he did not possess. He vowed revenge. And this much he knew. His time would come. Bohan was as malevolent and vicious then as he is now. Even as a child, he thirsted for power.
Thank you, son, who I trust completely.
A king? Bohan wanted to become a god.
So Bohan attacks the fort with his great balls of fire so that we can have more laughable effects.
Nariko then flees with Shen and the Prophet, where she is given the Heavenly Sword with the task of bringing it to safety. She then gets confronted by Bohan, and I know Molina has done good work in the past, he just really fails at bringing the original charm to the table. More to the point, he is just flat out boring.
Dear me, such a heavy sword for such a fragile creature. Come, child, let me take your burden.
Never! Leave me, Nariko! Get the sword away from here! The line must not be broken!
Perhaps I'm not making myself clear. I have something of yours, and you have something of mine!
Drop the sword. Yes. Now put it down and back away. Don't be a fool. Even your father knew that thing is cursed.
Bohan then gives out this large backstory about Nariko's life in a very sloppy manner, and even reveals that Kai is Nariko's sister. Wait, what? Great, you've ruined the game for me, and to make matters worse, Bohan begins to explain why.
Your father, the reckless fool, had plenty of time. You do know about his disappearance the night of your birth. Vanished for months. Everyone thought he'd done himself in. He went forth, spreading his useless seed throughout the land, infecting women like a virus, so desperate to correct his mistake. But here is the glorious irony. Something your dear father never even knew. On the 23rd day of the 12th and very last month, your father had a son.
That is not true.
From the womb of one of the many women he took by force. Yes, against their will. But hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
Oh, well, that's great. In addition to being a complete sexist jerk, they're even going as far as stating that Shen is also a rapist. Hang on, how does he know all of this?
Well, you see that scarred eye? It can see into the future.
Well, which eye? It seems to be having trouble making up its mind as to where it wants to be. I'm serious, it keeps alternating in this one scene.
By December, your sister Kai was born. Another failure. Absolute runt of the litter.
You are the king of lies.
And while I don't believe anyone, let alone the bastard son of Shen, can bring me harm, legend claims that the one thing that can stop me is the weapon on your back.
He also states that Shen's final bastard turned out to be a son, who is said to be the real chosen one. So Nariko makes her desperate escape in a similar fashion to the game.
And just as it was written, as the year of the Fire Horse began, our clan prepared for this most fateful birth.
What is with these scenes? They look awful.
Honestly, the studio didn't make these. These were actually the same scenes that were shown to promote the game, so all they did was simply copy and paste them in.
Oh! It's confirmed she was saved by Henry.
Okay, so she was actually rescued by Kai, who just so happened to be nearby. Bird or worms? Well, I guess I'm the only one who looked at the source material. Kai tells Nariko that she already knew that they were sisters and decided to keep it a secret all these years. Yeah, try making sense of that. But all of this sister-sister bullcrap is put to an end when they notice a patrolling scout trying to get away. Yeah, and who says motion controls suck?
Kai, I'd like to hear about your mother. I'm sorry, you don't have...
Mama was strong and funny. She sang to Kai. Kai remembers Master Shen. He would give Mama gold. He said to help. Master Shen never looked at Kai. Always made Kai very sad. Kai remembers the fox.
The fox?
Flying fox. He's not very big. Mama, she knew. She hid Kai in a cave.
She knew what?
The fox had come to get Kai. Don't know why, but Kai watched. The fox and his men make them bleed, Nariko.
Where is this coming from? It isn't even relevant, and we don't see Flying Fox again until much later. Did anyone on this team take a writing class?
So Nariko and Kai investigate this village in order to find the mysterious sun, but as it turns out, Bohan's forces have already started the attack.
We're too late.
Oh no, you're right on time. There have only been 23 casualties. After the fighting stops, they search the village for any traces of the sun.
Nariko.
Oh, jeez! My dear lord, I'll never be able to unsee that.
Underneath that hideously animated rug, they find a few survivors who inform them that General Whiptail is already searching for the sun, whose name is revealed to be Loki. I don't know if that's fitting or too generic. We are even introduced to his mother, who is not shy about admitting that she was one of Shen's victims. Seriously, what is your problem? Just at that moment, Whiptail arrives without any real introduction, and from there we get this uneventful fight between Whiptail and Kai until she is quickly killed off by Nariko. Well, that was a complete waste of time. As they continue their quest to deliver the sword to Loki, they soon find Bohan's deadly dark citadel.
So, was that in the game?
No.
Then it sucks.
Now hold on, I'm actually okay with it. In the game, there were obviously a lot of beautiful locations where the main story events took place, but I'm kinda glad they just stuck to this one place to develop for the sake of the film, so it doesn't become overwhelming. So Kai channels her inner Spider-Man and helps Nariko climb this wall where they soon find that their father and fellow clansmen are held prisoner. Shen appears to be badly wounded to the point of near death. Even then, he shows no regret for the selfish and immoral things that he's done.
I didn't ask to be rescued.
We're not here for you.
Little brother is here.
What is she talking about?
The Chosen One. All your hard work paid off. You had a son.
Just when you thought it couldn't be any more offensive. Surprisingly, Shen does lament his poor treatment of the girls and even becomes prepared to accept damnation for his sins.
Know as I leave this world, I journey to a dark place, where I will rightly suffer for my sins.
Kai!
Kai not want the first touch to be a hug.
Thank you, my daughter. Forgive me. Please, I don't want you to see me die.
But inexplicable healing powers go!
How is this? You are not the Chosen One, Nariko.
You're right, Father. I am not the Chosen One.
You must never do that again. Do you understand?
Never? Not even if my sister is on the brink of death? So yeah, he just goes back to being a selfish cunt. Come on!
Can I take this one?
Sure.
So his lies and deception don't stop there after what could have been a touching moment is thrown right out the fucking window by having no character development whatsoever. How the hell does she even have healing powers? It makes all the goodwill from this scene a complete waste and even more so a complete taunt. Very rarely in games or movies or even the rare crossbreed between the two have I ever seen a scene of this caliber where it's just a complete waste of energy, space, and attention that you gave for just a small moment. You think maybe there's a possibility where there's going to be the change in a character, and it's gone. In an instant, it's gone. You were expecting so much for this man to see the error of his ways, only so that in an instant, it all just disappears.
She did have healing powers in the game, but after she helps Shen, he gets wounded again shortly after, so they could have easily cut it out in both stories. From there, Loki is brought to the tower for execution.
I must inform your father that we have the Chosen One.
Yes! They have found him, and they know their orders to kill him.
What? Is that how they texted each other back then?
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Michael.
How dare you?
Loki is voiced by Thomas Jane, who has done a lot of great voice work. Alright, this should be good.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I said he's done good voice work.
And I never knew my father. Let me buy us both a mug of ale, and we can weep into them.
Seriously, he sounds like he woke up at 3 a.m. to voice these lines.
Or rather, he was recorded while reading it out loud for the first time.
Let him go, big man. If you want to live.
Man, I really hate scenes like this.
Why's that?
Because notice how everyone just drops what they're doing because the designated hero has arrived. All they need to do is just finish what they were in the process of doing, and their goals would be finished. Now it's all thrown out the window.
So we have a brief fight with Roach, and even though he's never given a formal introduction, this scene at least tries to capture the original somewhat faithfully. He even does that weird spinning move. Once he's defeated, Loki is given the Heavenly Sword.
All my life, I have dreamed of this very moment, but never thought it could be real. Never understood what it meant until now.
Yes, that really just happened. Once again, an important scene of character development is insultingly taken away. So this is our introduction of Flying Fox, and even though he looks kind of cool, he has none of the same charisma. He still does that magical cloning trick, which could be fun, but I never thought they could make it look this boring. Hell, they even spelled his name wrong in the end credits. Even though Kai is the one who has personal history with him, not Nariko, the focus is completely backwards, but then, to hurry things along, he attempts to hang Kai after stabbing her. Is it just me, or does this fight scene just drag on and on?
Well, it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't just him getting stabbed the whole time. There isn't a lot of sword clashing, and to be honest, I fell asleep. What actually happened?
So Flying Fox is finally killed and Kai is rescued. Now would be a good time to use your healing powers, but I guess it's more important to keep a promise to your ungrateful father than to save your sister's life. So they manage to escape while Bohan prepares to assault and destroy Nariko's clan.
Nariko, daughter, please, look at me. Where is my son? Where is the Chosen One?
Your other daughter is dying, father. Do you not care?
Rightfully so, Nariko tells him off and prepares to fight Bohan's army. However, Kyo, the guy from earlier, appears now working for Bohan and offers peace in exchange for the sword.
It doesn't have to end this way. All he wants is the sword. Give it to him. No one has to die.
I don't understand. How did... It was you. That's how Bohan knew where to find the sword. You told him.
For us, Nariko. For the clan. He was coming. He was always coming. It was prophesied. And with no Chosen One to protect us, I had to do it. To save us. Give him the sword, Nariko.
I should have let you die when I had the chance.
Give him the sword and we can finally be free.
Understand this, Kyo. I will never give Bohan the sword.
Kyo's defense is actually somewhat reasonable here.
Either way, Kyo is shot down in a hail of arrows because I have no clue, and Nariko single-handedly fights off the army. Similar to the game, she is taken to this dreamlike area surrounded by giant swords that rise from the ground.
Send me back. My people will die. My sister will die. Send me back. And you? You will die too. Bohan doesn't want to hold you. He fears you. He's there to destroy you. He'll be sneering as he throws you into his forge. Your metal will heat, turn red, and you will melt away until you are nothing. If I die, you die.
Where is this coming from? I think it's been more than obvious that he wants to use it to take over the kingdom. And how exactly can you melt down a magic sword anyway?
So the sword's like, well that sucks, and gives Nariko immense heavenly power. Meanwhile, Bohan gives his soul to the Raven and turns into the Raven King. What was the most epic battle at the end of the game is now way too brief and bland. Nariko simply hits him a few times, and then the Raven gives up on him and pecks his eyes out. Roach returns and then threatens Nariko, wanting to take Bohan home safely. The first time, it was a lot more sentimental, a word that the filmmakers clearly have never heard of.
The sword did not choose me. I chose the sword. I love you, sister.
And I love you, Noriko. I'm sorry. I have to go.
Nariko then uses her healing powers to save Kai's life at the cost of her own. As the clan says their farewells to Nariko, we get this cock-tease ending where Kai is now the owner of the sword, setting up for a sequel that will never come.
There. It's finally over. And coming from someone who hasn't played the game, and from someone who has played the game, I think we can safely say it fails on all accounts.
Parts of the story either don't make sense or are only more relevant if you're familiar with Heavenly Sword. The characters are also written completely wrong as well. Kai wasn't a total psychopath, Shen wasn't a mean-spirited rapist, Bohan wasn't a boring cliché, and Nariko herself is a lot more strong-willed.
The animation isn't very impressive, the character development was handled in such a horrendous way, it actually pissed me off.
Whether or not you're a fan of Heavenly Sword, I would ask you to not waste your time on it. This is the MCrewDude.
And Ian.
Wishing you all a very pleasant day.
Just be glad you're not here watching it with us. No, you know what? You know something? Actually, no.
What?
This is a song. This is a movie that belongs in every single household. Every single house should own at least one copy, if not more, of this one single movie because it's a maximum paramount. It's an apex of what a bad movie really is. This is like on the level of The Room. This is like gold standard of a bad movie. Every single human being on this planet should watch this movie at least once.
It could be our Plan 9 from outer space.
Exactly. Something that you can look at and think, wow, another human being made this and it isn't me. I'm glad. I'm glad it isn't me because you know what? Now I can sit back and truly enjoy what an awful movie this really is and you should buy it. and you should enjoy it for every horrible, awful, rug movement that it really is.
As long as you play the game first.
That would help.